I'm talking about Mount St. Helen behind that thing going down the road. I looked back to the rear view, I thought, we ain't fixing that. My daddy got that truck for me when I was 12, and it motor locked up, went to a field. When it got close to me turning 16 years old, he asked me what I wanted to drive. And I said, a Mustang. And he actually found me a Mustang in a barn. It was cheap too. And we went and looked at it. He said, I don't know what you got in the bank, but if you want this thing, you're going to have to put your own money on it. And I said, okay. So he put the rest of it with it. But we found a 64.5 Mustang, 260. It had 289 badges on it at the time, but it was a 260. I liked it. I drove it. It was in a barn. It was pretty legit. It wasn't too bad. And that's what we got when I turned 16, 1964.5 Mustang. But I didn't know it was 64.5. I thought it was 65. That thing was fast, 2-barrel carburetor. I mean, I raced everything that's pulled up beside of me in it. And they were fast cars from stoplight to stoplight. So I romped around in it for, I think I was 17. That would have been a year later. A buddy of mine had bought a 1985 Mustang GT, and we went to see Van Halen in Greensboro. We pulled over for some reason off of that exit and talked about what we were doing, I guess, or whatever. And I was in that 64.5, 65 Mustang. And we pulled out together, and I stuck my front bumper to that Mustang GT at 85, stuck it to the back of it, down that ramp. That thing blowed all to pieces. Second gear, wide open, right there on his bumper, off that exit. I mean, boom! You know what I mean? I'm talking about Mount St. Helen behind that thing going down the road. I looked back to the rear view, I thought, we ain't fixing that. Moseyed on and moseyed on and moseyed on and pulled off and everything. And the guy in the Mustang, he went and looped around and come back. That's why they called me the Mustang Man for a while, because I was eventually, after the Marine Corps, I got into singing. But anyway, so called my daddy on the payphone. Y'all know what a payphone is. So throw a little change in there, call my daddy. He said, don't worry about it. Just go and go what you're doing, and I'll get somebody to come get it. So he got somebody to come get it, and we all piled in that Mustang GT, about 7 of us. I remember one of my buddies was back here at the hatchback, and his head was like that the whole time, just in the back of that thing. And we went and seen Sammy Hagar and Van Halen. Eventually, I bought a 83 Mustang GT, T-tops. They don't make about 3,500 of them. I didn't take care of it at all. I believe my car payment was $220. It was white with black accents, black hood, you know, and rally wheels, and had the web up in the back. And it was fast. That thing was fast. And it didn't have but 210 horsepower, 220 horsepower, but it was fast. I raced in it all over too. But I think it was my 18th birthday. I was out in that thing, and we went to a party. There's a lot of parties back in them days, in the 80s. You know what I mean? Everybody dancing and disco lights still going on, you know, back in the 80s. Not the disco 70s, disco 80s. But we was in that thing, and I had some boys in the back. We left that party. It was dirt road. I don't know what it was. I could drive. I was a good, because I hung out with my daddy, you know. He was a moonshiner, bootlegger. Everywhere we get up there, we was up around that area. We wasn't on that particular road, but we was getting it pretty good in that Mustang. So I took off out that dirt road, and I got that thing up to 120 miles an hour on that dirt road. There was another guy behind me, and a guy there, and my buddy right there. And that thing got loose in that gravel, and we kind of done the whole drifting thing on the dirt road, you know what I mean? I mean, a long ways, too. I was trying to straighten it up. I mean, I was up in a man's yard by the end of it, and took the right front fender, just took out like the little, like a fence, pole fence, you know, with a slat, you know, that had the holes in them. I mean, doop, 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 doop. Because we was running. I mean, it was wound tight on the dirt road. And I straightened it up. and got it back straight and got out and looked at it after it was over with, and it had crushed that whole fender on the right side in. And if I'm not mistaken, it was my 18th birthday within them few days. And I was really distraught about it showing off like that. The boy in the back, as we was going out through the yard, and I was going, whoa, and gravel and out on the back road and in the man's front yard, you know, in his fence post, he was throwing up in the back, the guy in the back, because I guess I scared him. Anybody that rode with me back in knowed, because there's other stories about me like trying to do like my daddy, like cut the lights off, you know, doing 90 in a curve, you know, and spin out and just barely miss an oak tree by like that much, you know, front bumper, and me just looking at everybody like, we're all alive. But my daddy was really hard on me, and I had to pay for that. I had to pay for that out of my own pocket, that fender. We fixed it. And then I went in the Marine Corps. They wasn't paying me but about $150 a month or whatever. My daddy, he said, I ain't paying your car payment for you. And I said, well, I'll send you everything I got. So I sent him all the money I got. He still sold it. But I wished I'd have kept that car. The motor had gotten bad by the time I went in the Marine Corps. The bottom end was making a racket, and it didn't have the power, you know, but I mean, I could have fixed it. But I was in the Marine Corps. He sold it. Him and Mama sold it. But I've looked for that car. I actually found that car. I found that car. Somebody had put that body on a Bronco. The only one I ever seen like that. I mean, I found it in the yard before they done that, and I didn't stop and ask them about it. It was my car. There wasn't but one of them that was even close in my area. I know it was my car. It was in North Wilkesboro from Mount Airy, about 45 minutes away. And I was out doing line work over in North Wilkesboro and just passed it. It was on the side of the road. You know, this is a long time later. This is 20 years later I seen that car. And then by the time I thought, man, I need to go back over and try to get that car in the yard, you know, sitting there. It looked fine to me. I could have fixed it. When I come back, somebody had put it on a Bronco, an 83 Mustang GT. It was on the Bronco. And I thought, I don't want it now. And then I got another Mustang when I got out of the Marine Corps. I got an 85 Mustang. I drove it all over too. I had a good friend in the Marine Corps. We was trying to get back to pick up these chicks, these girls to go out on a date. And I had it hammered, 120. I believe he clocked us at 110 or something like that. And that boy, my friend, he took the ticket for me. We all jumped out of the car. He actually lost his license for me.
Finding good quality used cars is harder today than it ever has been, and the best way to find one is by using Auto Tempest. Auto Tempest is where I start most of my days searching for my next car because they compile the results from all the major sites into one place. They support VinWiki, they support CarTrek, and we love them for that, but honestly I love it because it's the best way to find your next car. They've even got an app now, so download it, check it out, and have the power of Auto Tempest on your phone.